"You're broke. I need someone who can spoil me." Her words cut deeper than any claw. Then she walked away, leaving poor Josh heartbroken. He was crushed. His dreams shattered like a dropped vase. He sat on a bench, tears mixing with the cheap fabric of his suit. He felt like the loneliest cat in the world. Josh is a cat with a heart of gold, but his wallet, not so golden. He was always the kind of cat who would give you his last treat if you needed it. Problem was, Josh was flat broke. His piggy bank was more like a piggy puddle. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, he saw a car accident. The screeching tires and the crash jolted him out of his sorrow. An old man was hurt, and nobody was there to help. Josh couldn't just sit there and do nothing. He rushed to the old man's side. Josh stayed with the old man until the ambulance arrived. He even hitched a ride to the hospital, feeling a pull to help this stranger. The doctors whisked the old man away, leaving Josh alone in the waiting room. Hours went by, each minute stretching into an eternity. The sterile smell of the hospital and the constant beeping of machines only added to his anxiety. He thought about going home, but then he thought about how scared the old man must be all alone, so Josh stayed. He couldn't bear the thought of the old man waking up to an empty room with no familiar face to comfort him. He even donated blood when they told him the old man needed a transfusion. The nurse was surprised at his willingness, but Josh didn't hesitate. It was the least he could do. The next morning, a kind nurse found Josh curled up in the waiting room. She told him the old man was asking for him. Josh's ears perked up at the news, curiosity and concern mingling in his eyes. It seemed the old man, whose name was Mr. Whiskers, had no family. He had been alone for so long, with no one to visit or care for him. He was touched by Josh's kindness. The simple act of companionship meant the world to him. Josh started visiting Mr. Whiskers every day. It became a routine, a comforting part of his day. He told him about his heartbreak, his dreams, his fears. Josh found solace in sharing his thoughts with someone who listened without judgment. Mr. Whiskers, despite his failed health, always listened with a twinkle in his eye. His presence was a source of comfort and wisdom. They talked about everything and nothing. Their conversations flowed naturally, filled with laughter and sometimes tears. Josh learned that Mr. Whiskers was a self-made businessman, a real go-getter in his day. His stories were filled with adventures and life lessons. He gave Josh advice, telling him, "A kind heart and a smart mind can take you anywhere." Weeks turned into months. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Josh never left Mr. Whiskers' side. He became a constant presence, a loyal friend. His priorities had shifted, and he found new meaning in his friendship with Mr. Whiskers. He realized that helping someone in need filled him with a joy that Bella could never provide. It was a different kind of love, one that healed both their hearts. Mr. Whiskers' health started to decline. Josh stayed by his side, reading him stories and sharing jokes. One evening, Mr. Whiskers took Josh's paw on his paw. "My boy," he whispered, "you have a heart of gold. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." That night, Mr. Whiskers passed away peacefully in his sleep. Josh was heartbroken, but also filled with gratitude for the time they had shared. He felt like he had learned more in those few months than he had in his entire life. The next day, the lawyer called Josh. Mr. Whiskers had left him something in his will, a check for $50,000. $50,000! It was more money than Josh had ever seen. He was overwhelmed with emotion. He knew Mr. Whiskers would have wanted him to use it wisely. He decided to honor Mr. Whiskers' memory by investing the money, just like the old man had taught him. He read books about growth and investments, attended seminars, and even took online courses. He started small, investing in companies he believed in. Slowly but surely, his investments started to grow. He made smart decisions guided by Mr. Whiskers' words echoing in his mind. A kind heart and a smart mind can take you anywhere. Years passed. Josh's investments skyrocketed. He became a savvy businessman, known for his golden touch and his even bigger heart. He used his wealth to help others, funding animal shelters and supporting young entrepreneurs. He built a company that focused on sustainable living, creating jobs, and making a real difference in the world. He became a multimillionaire, but he never forgot where he came from.